I hope you're having yourself an amazing day. It is 7 o'clock 1900 on the 1st of May 2024, or Labor Day as it is called if you're watching or listening from Kenya. It was a holiday. It was an holiday in Kenya. It was Labor Day celebrations in Kenya today with the Labor's Union court having a meeting in Nairobi that was attended by top government officials. So I'm going to be telling you about what was said in the court meeting. And of course, there's a lot lined up for you. This is Wednesday Updates with me, Dimore, where we are going to be looking at each and everything that was happening throughout the whole of Africa. Starting with Kenya, of course, always with the theatrics. We're going to be looking at Kenya and the flooding situation and what Pope Francis said about the Kenyan floods. We're also going to be looking at what President Ruto said in regards to the striking doctors. It's been more than 5 weeks and counting since Kenyans last saw a doctor in a hospital. So we are going to be looking at what did President Ruto say regarding the same. We're also going to be looking at Zimbabwe with its new currency, which was released yesterday. It has officially released its new currency, and it's set now to be distributed in local banks. It's called the Zig note. So I'm going to be telling you about the Zig note, which many Zimbabwean citizens claimed that they do not have confidence in because they do not know the real value of the currency, and therefore most traders are still not accepting the Zimbabwean Zig as a medium of exchange, as a store of value. So most traders in Zimbabwe are still more biased, they prefer the US dollar as compared to the Zimbabwean Zig. And of course, that is a challenge with each and every new currency, especially in Africa. And it's people accepting it because people have to accept a currency for it to work. And Zimbabwe is a country that has had records of failed currencies. Before they started using the dollar, they were using another currency which failed, and now they started using the dollar. Now they're using with the new Zig. So of course there has to be that uncertainty that people are having, and traders are refusing to take the Zig. So we are going to be talking about the Zig currency in Zimbabwe, and of course what the government intends to do on the same. But on our main feature, we are going to be looking at how the UK has begun detaining migrants who are set to be deported to Rwanda. So there was a plan that I'm going to be telling you about how Rwanda and Zimbabwe, Rwanda and UK, sorry, Zimbabwe is the one that released the currency. I'm going to be telling you about how Rwanda and the UK signed a plan that will see migrants from the UK getting deported to the East African nation. So right now, the UK has started detaining migrants who are set to be deported to Rwanda. The deporting is going to happen in the next few weeks, in the next 9 to 11 weeks. And in preparation for that, the British authorities have started detaining migrants as parts of preparations to relocate them to Rwanda. That is according to a strategy by the Prime Minister Sunak. Rishi Sunak is the one who came up with that migration strategy. So we're going to be looking at that. DRC has been having a lot of issues. I'm going to be talking about the DRC. It has been having a lot of issues, humanitarian crisis. It has been having insecurity issues and a lot of other problems. But of course, guess what? The DRC launched yesterday in South Kivu, one of the areas that are heavily affected by war, a large-scale vaccination campaign. Uh, just echoing what I've always said, that in Africa where nothing else works, vaccines always work. So I'm going to be telling you about how DRC has launched a large-scale vaccination in Southern Kivu. And of course, we are going to be looking also at a report that the World Bank, the IMF, sorry, released about a week ago that I've been going through, and the report was talking about how sub-Saharan Africa's income is falling further behind the rest of the world over the past few years. So the report was talking about how the gap between sub-Saharan Africa and the rest of the world is becoming bigger in terms of incomes. So we're going to be looking at that report, analyzing it, and seeing all the propaganda in it, and of course, all the truths in it in a bit. Uh, there was some positive aspects in the report. For example, they said that the region's economy would grow by 3.8% by the end of this year. That is from 3.4% that was in 2023. But majorly, the report was talking about how sub-Saharan Africa will remain is falling behind the rest of the world in terms of income and in terms of development. We're also going to be looking, finally, we are going to be looking at how hundreds of people in Niger once again went to the streets telling US troops to go back home, carrying placards written, US Army, you leave, you move, you vanish. No negotiations. That was what the placards read. So the people of Niger are sick and tired of the United States troops, and they took to the streets once again to tell the US Army to leave. The placards were saying no negotiations. We're not negotiating with you. We want you out of our country. Let us start by looking at the plan that was signed. It was a plan, it was a deal that was signed between Prime Minister, the UK Prime Minister Sunak, and the President of Rwanda, where apparently from now henceforth, failed asylum seekers will be given £3,000 to go to Rwanda. So that was part of the plan. That is what they planned. They signed as part of the deal that anybody who will not have failed asylum seekers in the UK will now be sent to Rwanda. And the failed is just a term. So right now, asylum seekers, if you seek asylum in the UK, you will be sent to Rwanda. Under the scheme that was announced last month, migrants whose claims are rejected are offered up to £3,000. So these people have already been flown. There was one who was flown on Monday. I don't know if he was paid the amount. The Rwandan government has confirmed that they are expecting a lot of migrants will be flown in the next 9 to 11 weeks from the UK. So that is migrants will now get flown to Rwanda if the UK does not want them there, which it of course doesn't want them there. So the scheme will also be open to other people with no right to remain in the UK and foreign criminals. So that is the part that is hidden down there on the plan. You know, the plan at the forefront it reads UK will pay failed asylum seekers to move to Rwanda. But if you look at the plan at the bottom of the plan, you're gonna see that will also see foreign criminals and people who have no right to remain in the UK taken to Rwanda also. So criminals, anybody who is not supposed to be in the UK, they're doing a cleanup in the UK and they are dumping whatever they think is not uh, of the UK standard in Rwanda. Is Rwanda okay with it? Rwanda is 100% okay with it, and it went and signed that deal. So at least 20,000 people with no rights to remain in the UK and criminals are expected to be the first among the first cohort that will be removed, not voluntarily, that will be removed from the UK. Their flights are gonna get paid. I told you it's a cleaning exercise that is gonna happen in the UK. And they were looking for a dumping place where they can, you know, the asylum seekers part looks like just the icing to make it look, but foreign criminals and other people who are not wanted in the UK. Anybody else with no right to remain in the UK and foreign criminals will also be transported to Rwanda. So that means it will be where anybody who is not wanted there will be deported to. You don't want to go through all the struggles of knowing where you're from. We'll just send you to Rwanda. If you are a criminal, you'll also be sent to Rwanda. So British authorities have already started detaining migrants as part of the preparations to relocate them to Rwanda within the next 9 to 11 weeks. The government announced on Wednesday that Minister Rishi Sunak's strategy was already in play. It was in April that the parliament endorsed this legislation. It was a bill. Then in April, the UK parliament endorsed it, and the legislation that is set to facilitate transfer of anybody who's not needed in the UK to Rwanda. So this is those who entered Britain without authorization, criminals, and failed asylum seekers. Sunak is aiming for the inaugural flights, that is the first flight of the 20,000 of the first cohort of people who are set to be deported. Sunak says that he is projecting that the first flight will happen in July. So they're saying that over 8,000 migrants have arrived in England via boats from France this year alone. So they are trying to reduce that number, not my words. Those are the words of Prime Minister Sunak. That is what he was saying as he was launching this cleaning process, because it is a cleaning process if you look at it. Uh, if you look at it deeply, how Rwanda is okay with this, I'm yet to understand. But that is what is going to be happening. Let me look at the comments real quick before I go to the next thing. Kay Williams is with me and he's saying, "Peace, brother. You notice it is the black ones they are targeting, right? And when Trump is getting a chair, it will be worse." He's saying America is no paradise, especially if you're black, no matter where you come from. They thought that they're gonna come over here and have it sweet. Wow. So Kay Williams is talking about the blacks who have also migrated to the US, and he's saying it's going to get worse when Trump gets the chair, when Trump become president, which I don't know if what do you think, Kay Williams? We just following US politics from afar. Do you think Trump is going to win the election? And he's saying that they thought they was gonna come over here and have it sweet. Little did they know that the US is the home of white supremacy, and migrating to the US as a black person, as a black African, thinking that you're going to paradise is never a good idea. Never a good idea. I wish you knew how the American dream is alive in African countries, Kay Williams. That they have some things that are called green cards. So green card is like a lottery competition where people buy those lottery tickets, and then a few people are selected to be given citizenship to go to the US. I don't know if it's a way of raising money by the US government, because they are good. They sell so many of those cards, and then they pick just a few people to get the US citizenship. And that thing is so popular. When the green cards are released, you'll find people queuing up near cyber cafes, that is, near places where they can access computers so that they can get the green cards with hopes that they might be selected as one of the people who are going to get citizenship in the United States. So the American dream is well alive and kicking, and people dream of going to that place. They think it's paradise, like you're saying. They think once you make it there, then your life is changed economically and everything. So passing the message that you're passing right here, that America is not a paradise, especially if you're black. It is a home of white supremacists. Many will not want to hear that because they think it is paradise. And Kay Williams is telling me, yes, Trump will win, and he says he's gonna get rid of all the migrants. Wow. We're following the American election from afar, and if you're an African, you should take heed of Kay Williams' advice, especially with migrating to the United States. He's saying, and he's saying again, It's not paradise like you think it is. So that is the United States. You saw the UK is also targeting African migrants, and they are now going to get deported to Rwanda. Doesn't want anything to do with African immigrants, asylum seekers, whichever name you want to use. 20,000 of them will be deported in the first cohort. And if you think they are getting deported volume, it's so easy to highlight, see the lies, because the plan says it's going to be a voluntary deportation. But then the same people start detaining migrants who are said to be deported. So you ask, why are you detaining people for voluntary deportation? If it's a voluntary deportation, then you don't need to detain people. So you don't even have to look so deeply for you to see the lies. It's a lie, it's nothing voluntary. They just want to get rid of people that they think they do not need. And let us look at other news. We are going to come back to this at the end of the show in the next few minutes. Where in DRC, again, where a lot of things have been happening in DRC. I've been talking about DRC week in, week out. There's been a humanitarian crisis happening in DRC, wars happening. There are about 100 plus armed groups in DRC fighting over what they are fighting about. They don't even know. I told you there are so many rebel groups in DRC to a point that they are groups that are anti others. They don't have an agenda. So one group is called the DRC Rebellion Front. Then another one will call itself the Anti DRC Rebellion Front. There are groups that they even set up groups to just oppose the other. I mean, we have no agenda. We just hate those ones. Because the more you're fighting for, we are not fighting for anything. We just don't love those ones. That is the situation that has been happening in DRC. Sponsored chaos, sponsored chaos, wars happening everywhere. People fighting over mining fields, and of course, an a need for humanitarian aid because there are a lot of refugees there. Of course, with the wars, that means people do not even have the opportunity to farm and produce crops. That is, once there's war somewhere, then of course there's going to be need for humanitarian aid. But guess what is happening in DRC? What was launched in DRC over the week was not humanitarian aid. They launched a large-scale vaccination. I mean, in as much as you might be shot dead in the next few minutes, at least you have to die vaccinated. They are so fast on that. So they launched a large-scale vaccination in the DRC to ensure that even if you get shot, you're gonna get shot a vaccinated man. There's no need for you to die unvaccinated. So instead of launching humanitarian aid, instead of doing away with the wars, what they did was what happens in every African country, where nothing else works, vaccination works. So they launched two vaccines, one for people, the other one that they launched was for cattle and goats. So they are going to vaccinate livestock against symptomatic anthrax. And
That's that's to get that shit inside of you.
mhm,
That's why I'm not. That's why I'm leaving the milk and everything alone in America.
mhm.
They putting that vaccine shit up inside the food supply. Is to get that wicked shit inside you at any cost. I'm not
Yeah,
messing with none of it.
and this is what I always say, kid. Notice how nothing else working. Nothing works in DRC. You know that.
Exactly.
Nothing at all works in DRC. Not the police, not the army. People just get killed every day. But guess what is
Hmm.
working in DRC? Vaccination.
Of course,
Not just
because
human
that
vaccination,
because that's
livestock
because that's the
vaccination.
agenda. The agenda always works, Demore. The
Mhm.
agenda always works. As I was just talking to Maria, shout out to KU. You in both shows, ain't you? KU and Maria in them show. And you over here with Demore, you over here with Demore at the same time. Um, yeah, so let me pop over here in Demore show for a second. Yeah, because that's true. They want Exactly right. But they whatever they want to work is what actually works
And if you
in
want
their
to know that,
benefit.
if you want to know, if you want to know that if they wanted things to work, they would work, then
They
do you know
would.
how in its first phase of the vaccination, which was launched 23 hours ago, they managed to distribute 740,000 doses. That is in a single day. That is the number
Yeah.
of people they were able to reach for vaccination, meaning if they wanted to reach the same amount number of people for something else, they
Anything,
would.
anything else they can be able to do it. Exactly. But that's not in their benefit. Exactly right, Demore. Right? It's not. That's not doesn't fit anything that
And
benefits
Kiwi.
Africa.
Mhm,
Anything that benefits Africa is not supposed to work. All right. So as far as the flooding,
mhm,
there should be no. Dubai actually got more rain because these morons created the rain. So they got a year
mhm.
worth of rainfall one day, but the response is different than the African response. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be you could cause let's leave Kenya out of it. Let's say Black Africa specifically. Because anywhere in Black Africa the response would be the same. Gizmo to nothing. Non caring, non doing because like the Maury said, when you got an ignorant population that doesn't understand how they're supposed to be taken care of in national disasters by their government and not giving a bunch of goofy speeches and waiting on Jesus, that they're actually supposed to get tangible things done for them that benefits them and their life. So the African to come back, like the boy said, sadly, a month later after everything, oh, thank Jesus we survived it. Not being angry at the government that did absolutely nothing to help them survive, said, um, calamity. And it's okay, what are we supposed to do to make sure we mitigate this situation the next time? We need
Yeah.
proper drainage. But the Africans don't control the road system. They're giving it to the Chinese who don't give a shit about them. So you ain't got control of the roads. Why have causes in Africa if you don't have engineers? You don't have structural engineers. You don't have infrastructure engineers. Africans are supposed to control your roads and your systems of drainage. So it's implemented because you care about your people.
Yeah.
You
So
don't give
nobody
your
has.
damn building of a. You don't see a bunch of Chinese people in America building no goddamn roads. They
The
wouldn't be
narrative.
tolerated.
The
Go ahead.
narrative
Go
we are
ahead.
having is the one that I shared yesterday. That this a natural disaster. We have nothing to do with it. It's not our fault. Which
It's not your
we
fault. The
yeah,
response is your fault.
we agree with you up to that point that it
Yeah.
is not your fault. But what about the response? Is that is also is it? Are we also going to wait for a natural response? I don't understand. You so
Exactly. What he's saying doesn't make any sense. We know it's not your fault, but the response is don't blame us for the national. We're not blaming you for that. We're blaming you
you had
for your
you had
response.
Kamlesh talking. You had Kamlesh talking about my Mahiu. My Mahiu is the place where the dam broke and killed 100 plus people. But guess what? It's 3 days after the accident, after the tragedy, and people are yet, many people are still missing and yet to be rescued. The people are, the local residents are the ones who are rescuing. And do you know
Of course,
how they are knowing that there is a body somewhere is by smell? So they are walking around and they hear a smell somewhere. They smell a smell. They smell a foul stench. Then they know somebody died in
somebody's
there,
dead.
and
Somebody dead.
they
Somebody
dig out
dead.
the body. And most of these
That's
people,
what.
you might find, the water swept vehicles that were on the road. So mostly it is in the vehicles. So most of the
Mm,
people are actually alive, but they had
wow.
nobody to rescue
Come
them. So
save them. Exactly.
they
Exactly right,
stranded,
Demore.
they
The
die now.
response. The response, Demore, is shameful. It's undefensible, Demore. The response is undefensible. It's undefensible. You got a government that actually works to kill you. That doesn't benefit you as a people. But they know that their population is so ignorant, and they say, hey, this government failed us. Yes, because it doesn't care. It doesn't care. You
Okay,
know?
Williams, about the immigrants in America, because we've been talking about how the UK has started detaining migrants, African migrants who are set to be deported to Rwanda in the next 9 weeks. They are deporting 20,000 migrants in the first cohort. More are going to come. So they're saying it's a voluntary deportation, and yet they are detaining people. So Kay Williams was telling me about how African immigrants are already there in the United States. They have been flocking there in their hundreds, thinking that they are going to paradise. And they are already complaining of being mistreated over there
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. Welcome to America, moron. You sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry the propaganda that you were given as a child. Oh, America's great. I want to go to America. I don't want to stay and fight and fix
Paradise.
my own country.
We think it's paradise.
Yeah. Let me come to paradise. I don't want to stay and fix my own country. Let me come to America. Then you find out it's completely a lie.
you, you know,
And then you
you
get
don't understand how much that American dream has been implanted. You know, if I was to call my village today and tell them that
uh,
I got a visa and I'm going to the United States, then my people in the village they would pray for the whole weekend, thanking God. I'm not
that
even capping. You know,
he not
you
see
know
that's
that
how bad with the Morris said that it's funny and it's sad, but that's how bad the ignorance and the propaganda has worked. Then when you get over here and you're smacked in the face and treated like shit, you're like, what's going on? I'm in America. Yeah.
but
Like
you
you,
know what?
just like you
You
heard,
know what? If I was to
just like you heard the Kenyan last week on Iratan's show, she was
Mhm.
over here and went back to Kenya. So hey, you don't know, it's fucked up over there. Where you got to work and be treated bad, the racism is in your face. I said, yeah, lady. I said, how long you been back in Kenya? 10 years. And I try to tell people don't go to America, but they won't listen to me. I said, I know they don't. They gonna have to see for themselves. So you
I've, I've
work
seen
all day, you're broke, the
I've
people
seen
treat you like
people
shit.
I've
Good
seen
morning.
Kenyans in the US on TikTok telling other Kenyans not to go there, but the Kenyans in the comments tell them that they went there and made it, and now they don't want other Kenyans to make it. So they say it's you are jealous. That's what they say. They say you're just jealous. You don't want us to make it. You know, the question they always ask, if it's that wicked in the US, why are you still there? So it's
Because
just don't
more
want
they
us
don't
to
because
come.
they don't got the money to go back. That's why.
Nah,
It,
nah. They,
it, same
they
way.
say they are just jealous people.
It's just not. It's just not in America. You got Kenyans in Canada. They tell you the same thing. The Kenyans in Canada saying the same thing. Don't come. It's fucked up. We're fucked up over here. I would go back, but I don't got the money. You think people just got money to jump on a plane and fly to Kenya? That's $2,000. You think the average Kenyan and the average black people in America got $2,000 to jump on planes? No. And not that they just don't. They say they just don't want us over there. They just don't want me. No. First of all, it's not them. The white man don't want your black ass over here. First of all, okay. I know you didn't. You ain't been told that. First of all, the black man don't want your. I mean, the white man don't want your black ass over here. A few of you, yes. A bunch of you, no. So they're just trying to be honest with you of what you expect when you get here. You're like, they trying to fool me. They trying to fool. They don't want me. You can't fool me. I'm going. All right.
Yeah, I'm not even capping, and a big shout out to General Mosquito who's just passing by, and I'm not even capping. If my village people knew that I got a chance to go to the US, I got a job in the US, and said no, they would hoop my ass. They would think I'm the most stupid person in the world.
And
That's
that's the
how
fact. And
that's
they're happiness because they haven't blamed the government. Why should I go
Mhm.
to America? Why isn't Kenya developed like America? That's to be the question. Why isn't Kenya developed like America? Because you have all the resources in Kenya to be America. That should be the question, but they're too ignorant to answer that, to ask that question.
So
Why should I go to America?
let me tell you how America, even America itself, makes millions of money from desperate Africans who want to go
Of
to the.
course, the visas.
So yeah, a visa, a US visa is about $200. That is not a
Yeah, that's
visa,
cheap and
the
kid. That's
application.
all.
That's
That's
the
all.
application fee.
That's all it costs in Kenya. two hundred
Yeah,
dollars.
it's $200.
Most African countries. See, that's cheap. I know Malawi is $1,800. I know in the Namibia is almost $3,000.
And listen, kids, don't confuse this with this is not the visa fee. This is the application fee. This is what
Okay.
it's
Okay.
non-refundable
Yeah, it's
application
not
fee.
exactly. That's all Africa.
This is
They
what
keep the.
everybody wants. So out of 100 people who are going to apply for the visa, one will get it. 99
Right.
will lose $200 a day.
That's right.
So that
Keep all that money.
yeah, they make a lot of money every day from and in the visa application they say we can reject your visa application with no explanation.
No explanation.
We reserve the right to reject your application
Put it,
without.
put us up tomorrow. Say Mali closes down the U.S. embassy for doing exactly what you just said, for keeping Africans' visa application money. If Mali threatens to call, I mean Malawi, my fault, Malawi. Malawi threatens to close down the American embassy for not giving Malawians back their money after not getting approved for their visa application. And you should. That money they're not supposed to be able to keep that money. Come
Yeah,
on.
they closed it temporarily because of the same.
Yeah, good. So they did close it. Good. It's all right. That's called extortion, Demore. America's the white man's been stealing money from Africans, and no one's done nothing about it.
I'm trying to see if I can see the statistics of people who apply for the US visa every year in Kenya because I'm sure it is in the hundreds of thousands, and the
Yeah,
number
and they
of
don't
people
get it.
get approved is in the
Small
hundreds.
number. Yeah,
Yeah,
small number.
so in
That's
as
all
much as
throughout. That's all throughout Africa. We don't want your
we
black asses over
keep
here.
them also because raising $200 is not that easy. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but that's cheap. I know it was that cheap in Kenya. Other countries, Damari and Africans in the thousands. That's crazy.
I would not have a problem with it if it was refundable money. And
It's supposed
man,
to be refundable. It's supposed to be. That's if you if I'm getting denied, that money's still mine. It's theft. It's stealing money.
wow. And I was talking about the American dream, kids, and about how Africans dream of going to that place. And I was just
American
explaining.
nightmare.
Yeah, I was explaining about the green card. I don't know if you know about the green card.
Yeah, of course I know about the green card.
Yep. So over the last 3 years, 30 million Kenyans applied for the green card. Kenya has 40
God
million, by the way.
damn.
Yep.
I think you guys got 50 million now, Demar. I think you guys got like at least 50 million population by now, don't you? I think it's 50 million. I might be wrong.
Uh, how many adults do you think are there in the 50 million?
30 million. That's the whole country. God
Yeah,
damn.
yeah, yep. That in the last 3 to 5 years, uh, 30 million
That
Kenyans applied
that
for the.
number's crazy high. God damn.
So good luck trying to explain to Kenyans that.
You know how much money? You know how much money Americans kept and stolen? Out of 30 million kids? God damn.
Good luck to
That's
you
in the
trying to
million.
explain.
That's
Good
in
luck
the
to you
million.
trying to explain to the 30 million Kenyans
You're
that
right.
American
Hey, you're
data is
right.
better. Yeah, good luck to you. Like I said,
I know. I'm not gonna win.
you know
You,
what they're gonna
you
tell
just
you, kids?
shut the fuck
No, as
up.
long as there is money, they don't care about the racism. They're going to ask you, is there money? If there is money, they can abuse. I, you trust me, they don't care about the racism as long as there's money. They're going to ask you if there's money. Am I getting money? If I'm getting money, then they can call me nigger as much as they want. That is the attitude because they know it's racist.
Wow. That's a that wow. That's a see. That's the situation they got Africans in that kind of poverty. They say, as long as it's money, he
Yeah,
called me nigga to my face. There you
yeah.
dirty nigga.
Give me
Clean up that.
$10 and call me nigger, nigger.
God damn.
And to be fair, kids, sometimes I understand them because even our government is calling us niggers indirectly and not giving us money. It's
I
putting the
know.
middle finger on our face without the money. So, you know, I do understand them.
Oh shit.
Uh,
Oh my God. Well, Kenya, let me tell you, it's not as dreamy as you is. America's in a full-on economic collapse. What's going on, Jimmy? You join us over here? Is Maria and them still alive? I don't know. I left to go come over here with Demore. Um,
yeah,
um,
mhm,
um, Kenya's America's under a full-scale economic collapse. So
yep.
it's the end of an empire of theft. I don't know how it's gonna collapse. People, when it's gonna collapse? I give it 5 more years. It's unsustainable. What the cats with the small hats have done, the
Mhm,
theft and the graft, it's unsustainable. The banks, it's unsustainable. The numbers don't add. The theft, the fake loans. America is what, $35 trillion in debt? It's not our debt. We know it's the bankers, the cats with the small hats, right?
mhm.
But now it takes a trip. Do this for me, Demore. Pull this up. Say, does it take $1 trillion
Yeah,
every
America has
hundred?
over 5 trillion public debt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
25
4
trillion.
trillion.
It's,
Yeah.
it's unsustainable. You can't. It means it can never be paid back. But not worse than that, family. We're paying $1 trillion every 100 days to service the debt. $1 trillion. So, and that's just now. So imagine and look, because inflation's eating up that debt. I mean, it's eating up the money that you're giving back. $1 trillion every 100 days, right?
Mhm,
It's only 365 days in a year, so that's 3 trillion. Eventually, it's gonna get to $2 and $3 trillion
mhm.
every 100 days you give it. You're not paying off the debt. You're paying interest on the debt. That's the interest payment. So that means you haven't touched the balance. You haven't touched the balance at all. That's unsustainable, family. We will collapse. It's unsustainable. It's unsustainable.
And
Unsustainable. Go
talking
ahead.
about moving abroad. Today we had today was Labor Day. It was a public holiday in Kenya, so we had the president talk about. He always talks about diaspora remittance, and he talked about that again today. He is actually advising Kenyans to leave the country, go abroad, and remit
Yeah.
money back home.
Yeah, the kid money. See, he's doing what they all doing the migrant shit in America. All these migrants
Mhm.
have come to America and send money back to the poor ass countries, and it's helped their countries, right? He's telling that, but he's not saying, not understanding that you're Africans, and people don't want Africans in their country. They don't want you niggas. Okay? That's what you find out when you get to Italy, you get to Spain, you get to England, you get to France, you get to the Netherlands, you get to Germany. They don't want you there. They tell you, nigga, go back to Africa. He said, as long as I get the money, ain't no money, we beat your ass. You'll get your ass beat around here. So he's not saying I'm going to develop. That's how you know he shouldn't even been president. He's not talking about let me develop Kenya so I give you jobs. No, leave the country because I don't know how to do shit. And send money back to Kenya to your family. Send money back.
Yep. And he talked about how we had how much money was remitted last year. It was 4.1 billion US dollars. That was the amount of money that was remitted last year to Kenya from abroad. So he wants more of that
He wants more of that.
remittance.
But
Is
that money's not building Kenya though. It's
Mhm.
actually keeping an economy. It does keep the economy going because that means that's money coming outside the country. It's not money that the country is developing, so it's
Mhm.
keeping the country afloat without you having to actually develop shit. So it's not a sustainable real economy. It's not sustainable. You must you must build a real economy, Bruno. you can't you can't fund your economy off the backs of your diaspora. You can't. You gotta build a real economy, moron.
Yep, and
Hey, I need more Kenyans to go out there, make money outside the country, and send this shit home.
it has gotten to a point. I'm trying to look for a certain ad that I saw on TV, but apparently it's not on YouTube. But if I see it, I'm gonna share. So it's of a certain private university in Kenya. So it had an ad, and in the ad, it's a nursing. It has a nursing school. So as a way of advertising, marketing, and attracting students, it's talking about how it's
You
preparing
can leave.
the nursing students for the Australian market. That is what they're saying. So
Yeah.
they're not even preparing the medical students for the Kenyan market. Their curriculum
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
yeah,
Because they can't pay them. They got no. They don't got the. You build no industry to support the nurses in Kenya. Get paid. So you're gonna find out when they go to Australia,
mhm.
which is very expensive. Them living there, they're not gonna have the money. That what you call the extra funds to send back to Kenya, Rudo. The living standards are higher, but the expenses are higher. So they're not going to have all this money to send back to Kenya and pay
But
for their 30 relatives.
with us normalizing this type of brain drain, kids, it is the reason we
Exactly.
can't be
It's
able to
bad.
do minor surgeries. You know, for I have to pay
Exactly, Tamore.
for minor surgery because apparently all the
That's
top
what's
professionals
that's what's
are
called brain.
paying the yeah.
That's exactly what's called the brain drain, Tamore.
So it is how much we've normalized that. And Jiba Jaba is saying all Australians want 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 Negroes wiping up after them.
Yeah,
And
but
K
see,
Williams
but
was saying K
it's
Williams was
it's
saying
the
very
brain
true that
drain.
Africans are
Oh, go
being
ahead.
targeted worldwide. People want them out their countries. Welcome to the world of white supremacy.
Yeah,
So the rest of the
yeah.
world is pushing Africans away, and African leaders are pushing Africans to where they are being pushed
Because
away.
because they haven't developed the countries anymore. They don't. They're failures, and they know they're failures. Everybody knows these African puppets have failed. They're failures. They failed to build governments. And why you got the white man out of it? Let's go back and colonize Africa. Even though they created the system so to fail. This is how psychopathic white people. They know they created the system and these puppets for Africa to fail. But now they say Africa's a failure. We got to go back and recolonize them because the shit don't work. It's failed. Not saying that they set up for Africa to fail in the first place. They
And a
built
big
no
shout out
industry.
A big shout out to Ofori Mensa, who's on Facebook. And Jiba Jaba says that's bogus, telling the most talented to leave for Muzungu lands. And that is what is happening. That is the brain drain that is happening with all the top professionals, all the
That's why
top.
and that's why Africa never developed. It's a brain jet because none of these puppets will ever
Mhm.
stand up to white people and say, "Hey, we're going to start developing industry here." That's what we have to do. We need our best and our brightest here.
Because let's face it,
So we
Africa,
got to start developing industries here.
we don't even have enough we don't have enough doctors in Kenya for our own market Even in
That's
Kenya, we
Africa.
don't
That's
have,
Africa.
yeah, in Africa we don't have enough professionals. I like quoting my village because it's just an segment, an illustration of Africa. So the other weekend, I went to the village to look to see my grandma, and she was not feeling well. So she was telling me about how she's supposed to go to the
Okay.
hospital on a Tuesday, because on a Tuesday in a week, so it's a district hospital there. In a week, there is a doctor only one day in a week. Why? Because the doctor serves several
A big
hospitals.
ass
So
community.
big hospitals, she has to be there. So if you're not there on Tuesday, you miss the doctor, you have to wait for the next week on Tuesday. And what are we doing to our own doctors, our own professionals? We're sending them
Sitting
to
in
Australia
Australia. Australia.
and are paying them now. There hasn't been a doctor in a
They,
Kenyan hospital for the last 1 month.
and and you haven't paid yeah, because they haven't paid the damn doctors because the theft of the country has been going to politicians who don't do shit. You got politicians who don't have a real being a politician is not a real job. You're not supposed to be a politician your whole life and don't ever create shit. So that money goes to them for not doing shit, while the doctors who actually save lives and do real work get nothing. So you got it upside down, and it ain't the black person's fault. The whole system was created by white people. But you have not torn down the system, because now you got people that benefit from a corrupt system. All the politicians, they benefit. They don't want to tear down that system. They benefit from the corruption. So it's not their benefit to tear it down. You're in an incompetent,
Mhm.
insufficient, corrupt system. You can't even pay your doctors. You don't even got doctors. Oh, your whole system. Then you talking about you got
Man,
then you got people making dumb speeches. Kenya, we've done good. We've climbed out of this. We've done. What are you talking about? Shut up. You got doctors that you don't even got. Sound crazy. And it's the
talking
same thing.
about
And
talking
it's the
about
same thing.
crazy,
Go ahead.
talking about crazy. Looking at other news, Pope Francis had a message for Kenyans today who are going through flooding, and he said, "You don't have to worry. I'm spiritually close to you." That was the message. So I had to read
What the fuck does
to
that even
Kenyans.
mean? Don't have to worry. I'm drowning. Don't worry. I'm spiritually close to you while I'm drowning in a ditch.
Yep.
This
So
nonsensical
I had
fairy
to read
talk.
that message. I had to read that message to Kenyans. Maybe it will make them feel better knowing that the Pope is, as you're drowning, as you're dying, the
That's called
Pope is
brain.
spiritually close
That's
to
called
you.
brain control. That's called mind control. I'm all fucked up, but I can't. But the Pope said he's close to me. Yay! The Pope is in a nice ass bed, either with heat or air conditioning, is not thinking about your black ass drowning in no ditch. But anyway, let me finish what I was saying before tomorrow finishes. It's the same thing in Nigeria. Nigerians are known as the best doctors on the planet, hands down. But you don't got no Nigerian doctors in Nigeria. You know why? Because they can't afford to pay them, just like Kenya. So they had to leave. The best doctors in the world are considered Nigerians. But you
Mhm.
go to Nigeria, it'd be the same thing as Kenya. No, one doctor in every 3 villages and shit. You only see him one doctor is taking care of 1,000 people with substandard conditions, because none of these despots have built real hospitals, real systems to benefit African people.
Mhm.
I don't think the Kenyans are as blatant as Nigerians. Nigerian politicians don't even use their hospital. They blatantly all fly out of the country, go to Europe, go to England, France, Germany to get seen. Then you're a
The brain,
politician and you go use somebody else's medical system. Shit's crazy.
the brain drain is being allowed by the government because at some point you can't even blame the doctors, you can't blame the engineers, you can't blame the
No,
those who live because you're getting paid peanuts, and
the system,
you get a
the
better
system,
salary elsewhere. Yeah.
the system is designed, Demore, to
Mhm.
what? Suck from Africa. So if the minerals are in Africa that gives all the money, but that money doesn't stay in Africa, it goes to Australia, America, England. So they get to pay their people real money off the minerals that come out of Africa. So it's a vicious system that exploits African people. It's vicious. But none of these leaders would do anything about it,
Mhm.
except for the people now trying to do something about it in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and now also Senegal. These things have got to be done, Africa. You've got to take back Africa. Sorry. Being kind and docile don't work. Talking about this is my tribe. He's my leader because he's part of my tribe. You got to throw that shit out the window. That's all got to go. As you grow up as a people, all that bullshit got to go. You got to demand stuff done right and for your benefit, and that your
The
wealth
only,
stays in your
the
country,
only,
and that your
the
wealth
only
is dispersed
tribal,
to the people. Go ahead.
the only tribal talk we should be hearing. The only tribe is African, black. That is your
It's
tribe,
African.
black,
Yeah,
African.
that's right. That's what you used to know. So you got even worse, right? Your tribe is African. That's your power. Now you start bringing the brain drain comes back to Africa. Your tribe is African. That's your tribe. I don't want to care about your goofy tribe. You African first. African first. That's called getting on code with each other and having love for one another as one people. Because the reason why this is happening, because you were dominated as a people. That's why you go to Australia. If you got Australia got money, all that shit comes out of Africa. So, you know, these puppets all gotta go. Come on, go to hey, go to Europe because we can't pay you. And look what a good president I am. Why can't you build me a job here in Africa? Why can't I stay here and have good hospitals, have good medical care? Why not?
And Jiba Java is telling me it's the same thing here. You got a book 3 months in advance. Then you are lucky if he sits 15 minutes talking about my grandmother and her hospital woes. Where if she misses on a Tuesday, then she has to wait for next Tuesday or
Hey, there's a short,
follow the doctor to the hospital that he's in.
yeah, Jibber Jabber, there's a shortage here. There's a shortage here, especially now because doing we on YouTube. I can't say, but remember during COVID, they made people get the what? They made people get the GB. They made them get the juice, and all of them have what? Been missing. I just say that they've been missing, and so now you got a shortage in the West of doctors and nurses because what they did. Now these people, let's say all these nurses and doctors are now missing. They're missing somehow. They're
And K.
missing.
Williams says people are the only people that have leaders that are not good to them globally. And Jiba Jaba goes on to say, as he looks
It's
down from
global.
that high as little window, that is the Pope, being spiritually close to African, to Kenyans who are
You know,
dying from
you know how
floods.
stupid. You know how disrespectful and stupid that sounds. I just, I'm close to you. I'm close to you,
Spiritually.
goopy. I'm close to you, goopy niggas spiritually. The Pope. I need a boat. There's a goddamn crocodile about to bite my foot off. But I'm close to you, you dumb nigga.
Spiritually close to you.
I'm spiritually close to you. You understand? Just believe I'm next to you in the gator and the crocodiles almost got me too. That's what you do. Man, after Demore showed me that thing with the crocodiles in Kenya, on my TikTok channel, I seen a big ass alligator, man, climb a fence in Florida, climb the fence. I was like, what? I never knew no alligator could climb a fence.
And
I was like, oh shit.
as we come to the end of the show, Job is coming up next in the next few minutes. K. Williams says something that I agree with that black entertainers, politicians,
Yeah, it
athletes,
works.
and preachers are not good to black people.
Nah, because they serve the system, K. Will. They're all getting paid by the system to keep black people ignorant, entertained, that well, it's called keep us fat, dumb, and happy. So they
I
don't
always
want
think I always
to
think that if you're
go to
against the
more.
system, then I always think that if you're against the system, chances of you making it as a
You're
popular
not.
black entertainer, black
No, you're
politician,
not gonna make it. You
you're
don't
not
own the
making it.
system. You're not gonna make it. If you tell the truth, the more you go against the system, how's the system gonna pay you? You trying to tear it down. I'm not making you famous. The more you talking about what's real, how it works. What? You're not getting no coverage. You crazy?
They're going to do your kids. They're going to take
Yeah,
down your YouTube channels without strikes.
that's right. They're gonna. That's right. That's right. Yeah. That shit got taken down. I know that shit got taken down. The more told me Saturday morning, I said, God damn. I need the more it froze. Oh, you back. I was like, God damn, but that's what they do. That's what they've been doing. So
Mhm.
anybody speaking any truth, especially, it's even worse when he's speaking African truth, because that this whole for the last 500 years, the world has run off the back of African people. Their wealth is directly tied, not indirectly, directly tied to African people, either through slavery, colonialization, the raping of Africa. That's the continent and the people. So you bring in any enlightenment, African people, oh no, shit. That's when that Facebook shit. You guys
They,
remember when Facebook first
they
started?
look
The-
they looked at your YouTube and they were like, nah, this nigga is
yeah,
speaking too much truth and you are
they do that
good.
every time. That ain't the first we lost someone last year. They got to
Even for this
20,000
stream,
subs.
even for this stream, as I come to the end, right now I can see about 8 people in the stream. But trust me, once I end the stream, I'm gonna get one viewer. That
That's
I don't know
how it
where the
works.
other 7 viewers are gonna go to.
That's how it works. Also, start putting your show on Twitter too, Demore. Twitter, the Twitter audience. Because I explained yesterday we had 3,000 live people in the chat room
Mhm.
on Twitter, but we get no followers. How's that even possible? I didn't when I left Maria and set those page them on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. There were 700 people on Twitter when I left. If I would have stayed, it would have grown. But explain that.
Nah, the only
It's a
explanation is that the system is
yeah.
spiritually close to you.
Yeah, that means you're being throttled. You cannot have 3,000, 2,000 people on a damn live stream and no one clicks the follow button. That's impossible. So you know what's going on. So we know, but that's okay. That was my job. I knew I wasn't gonna get paid by the system. I'm not delusional. I knew I wasn't gonna get paid. I'm not gonna get no YouTube money and all this other money. I was gonna have to build it and fund it myself because any African talk and waking up African people and uniting us is a threat to that system. That system is what anti-African, and us going against that system. We're not going to get paid by that system to overturn it. So it's
Yep.
okay. It's all right.
They said good luck to you, brother, trying to get paid by YouTube. And as we come to the end of the show, we are still going to create more channels, even if they take down as much as they want. And Jiba Jaba is saying it is bullshit. 10,000 subscribers, but only 6 watching. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And that was
But
all we had today.
the last both channel members, the one they took down at 10 had more followers than this. That's why they took that one down first. It almost had 11,000 subs. Yeah, they throttled it. It's so funny. They used to be so blatant with it. I'll put up a video. First, the video like have like maybe 700 views, right? Now come back an hour later, it went from 700 down to like 200, and then when it ended, when it stopped getting views, it'd be like at 60, 65. How do you get views backwards?
People unviewed. People are unviewing the video.
Exactly. How do you get backward
Come on.
views? I know. Yeah.
Were they,
And so,
were
but
they watching the video backward?
it's blatant. So I know it's only when you're effective
Hmm.
is when they start now coming at you and destroying you. Because now,
But,
not
but,
that
but
you
you
just
know what?
got
But you know what,
influence, you're
kid?
effective. Go
You
ahead.
know what, kid? As Joby comes in, if we only talked about black naked women, about
Of course, that gets a bunch of views. Yeah. But
yeah,
so, yeah, if you set up any channel talking about debauchery and nigga nonsense because this dumb shit.
yeah. If if
Now,
if we start, if I was to start talking about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef right now, that is
exactly.
they would never
Yeah,
ban
that's
it.
that. That's the stuff. Yeah, because exactly because that's called fluff. That's called nigga nonsense. It has no meaning to the system. Demore.
Mhm.
That's what they want you to talk about. Yeah, drinking, Kendrick Lamar. Who gives a shit? How that how does that
So
change anything? It doesn't.
how does that help the floods in Africa? But anyway, family, that's all we had today. Make sure to join Joby in a few. I'll see you tomorrow on the Black Hotfire News Update. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's always a
Yeah,
pleasure. And
you must love. Sorry, the ear time. Yeah, shout out to General Mosquito knows that ear time was crying on the show. She was traumatized. She was traumatized when I got on her show today. I traumatized that.
yeah, I heard you talking about was it a show that you were talking about how God is not the creator is not female,
Yeah,
is not male.
it's not male or female. It's more than that, more than we can conceptualize. I told her God lives within, not outside. I said, you know
Rwanda,
the exoteric and not the esoteric. And so she was all traumatized. Oh no.
no
So I knew
wonder
she
your
was
vi- no wonder your
traumatized.
videos no wonder your videos are getting unviewed, kids. With that type of content, no wonder your videos are getting negative views. Yeah. So that's all
That's
I had.
what
I really
that's what
enjoyed that.
happened.
Yeah.
But you stay
Yeah.
but you stay African to the end. Our job is to get us back on top. I don't give a shit about no views. Cause I already know if I wasn't throttled, I'd get 100,000 views like I used to. I don't care about that. I know and is it effective? I know in the beginning before they knew I was, it's effective because I was touching everybody throughout Africa, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and that audience all over the continent. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Teaching me. That's right. That's my job. My job is I say, oh, I'm getting YouTube money. Yeah.
So much love, family.
What's up, guys?